Shady Brazilian businessmen executed in Georgetown. Londoners shut down the bridge in protest. Rice workers protest party manager. And Guyana, history repeating itself. I am Noriko Bulford and welcome to tonight's edition of Uncut News. Last night, 2 gunmen shot and killed 51-year-old shady Brazilian businessman Euclid da Silva while he was sitting in his truck on Regent Street, while one other man in da Silva's vehicle was seriously injured. Investigators are still figuring out a motive for the shooting. Back in 2010, da Silva was charged for forging a Guyana birth certificate. He was then handed over to the Brazilian authorities, but he supposedly escaped from prison and popped back up in Guyana 2 years later before being arrested yet again and charged for fraud. In 2014, his fraud and conspiracy charges were dismissed for lack of evidence. Unsurprising. Since then, da Silva ran a business on Hatfield Street up until last night. Persons in common law unions are now more secure after the recent passage of the Civil Law Amendments Bill. The law now allows a widow or widower to inherit the assets of their deceased common law spouse as long as there are no children and all debts have been paid. The bill recognizes that once a single man and woman have been sharing a common law union for a stipulated time period, the law recognizes that they are entitled to legal benefits. Legal benefits that will actually help thousands of Guyanese who are living in common law relationships. When the Elections Commission met on Tuesday, they were expected to vote on 3 motions to terminate the contracts of the GCOM trio. However, this could not be done since the opposition commissioners refused to have the vote to be put to the floor. When the PPP representatives continued to press for the motions to be voted on, the opposition commissioners just simply logged off of the virtual meeting. Yes, just so bold. As a result of the abrupt exit, Justice Singh was forced to adjourn the meeting until tomorrow. Today, hundreds of people in Linden blocked the road leading to the Mackenzie-Wismar Bridge as part of anti-vaccination protest. This protest is in response to the locking out of unvaccinated doctors, nurses, administrative, and other employees from the Linden Hospital complex. The people formed a human chain and put up a barricade to stop the flow of traffic after the staff were prevented from entering their hospital for a second consecutive day. The police are now on the ground to assess the situation. The region has seen widespread hesitancy to receive the vaccine and has the lowest percentage vaccination rate, with less than 19% of persons in the region having been vaxxed. Are you one of the chosen few that benefits from duty-free? Good for you! Check out these amazing vehicles that just arrived at Best Buy Auto Sales. This 2016 Toyota Harrier Grand Sport Edition, this 2014 Range Rover Evoque, and this 2016 Lexus RX 200T are all on sale. They are all fully loaded and come with all modern features. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Bitter Street, Queenstown, or Lot Hulama Street, and tell them Noriko sent you to get in on a sweet deal. Last night, a 42-year-old taxi driver was robbed and carjacked in Sophia by 4 gunmen posing as customers. The taxi driver reportedly picked up 2 of the suspects from Starbrook Market, and when they arrived in Sophia, the 2 other armed suspects emerged on both sides of the vehicle. They stole the man's cash, phone, and his dark green Toyota Delta motor car with the registration plate PWW6623. The police have no suspects. A week after the president announced plans for salary increases for public servants, the JPSU is criticizing his failure to commit to legally required negotiations with the union, while lamenting that the government has ignored the JPSU's request for over a year. The statement was a response to the announcement that the government would be providing public servants a retroactive salary increase, even as they failed to acknowledge several correspondence from the union. On Tuesday, workers of the Burma Rice research station protested the haughty attitude of one of their managers. Their words, not mine. According to them, the manager on some occasions would speak to them in an abusive and threatening sounding tone. So they took it up with the boss, who supposedly straightened it out with him, only for him to continue the conduct, which included withholding worker payments and denying one worker's compassionate leave after his father-in-law passed away. They also said the working conditions are terrible, as they are also forced to use broken down equipment and broken down washrooms with no proper accommodations, even for eating. During the protest, some members of the management team drove past the workers who had blocked the gate holding placards in protest. Don't miss the grand 50% off sale and get a free 1-month digital Prime bundle plan. Available at City Mall, Starbrook Square, Regent and Light Street, Marcy Turkine, and Marcy Providence. Shop early, limited stocks available. It's now time for today's Rolling Report. Today, the nation recorded 86 new cases. There are now 567 persons dead, 14 persons in the ICU, 690 in home isolation. And the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 23,156. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds, and remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Today, Minister Anthony touted the record turnout of 4,930 persons getting vaccinated within the last 24 hours. According to him, this record turnout is all thanks to the government's recently gazetted vaccination policy. To date, some 275,451 persons, or 56.6% of the adult population, have received the first dose, with 145,566, or 29.9%, receiving both. Have a business and need access to more Gundu balls? Register it on one of the fastest growing business directories in Guyana. Sign up for free on snap.gy and get your business listed today. And yes, you've heard me right, it's absolutely free. Get listed today on snap.gy. And now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? The fact that it's 2021, but I feel like I just read a news report from 2012. Londoners block the bridge over an unpopular government mandate. A shady businessman is killed in a hail of bullets on Regent Street. Agricultural workers are protesting their poor working conditions. The government refuses to negotiate with the unions. The opposition refuses to negotiate with the government. Crime continues unabated, and the common man still fears victimization to even discuss any of this in public. It's like being in a weird time warp, and no one is the least bit concerned. And those are just today's headlines. You could replace the Gas to Shore project with Amila Falls. Replace Exxon for Bai Shanlin. The list goes on. But what I'm getting at is the fact that people need to start demanding those in power serve the people in a fair and transparent way now. Because if a government is not held to account, it will become corrupt by nature. And if you ask me, doing the same thing you did a decade ago and expecting a different result today is pretty stupid. You there, Mr. Truck Owner. A great place to get high-quality truck parts and engine spares for low prices is Powered Automotive. They stock parts for DAF, Freightliner, Mach, International, and all models of Cummins engines. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Real thing. Moving on to our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, what's the biggest issue affecting your community? Leah Cole says, the garbage in the city and villages need to be dealt with once and for all. The nation's infrastructure plans need to include a robust recycling system. Jay Jairam says, we need more jobs in Kurivatin. Neil McKenzie says, it's been years. West Coast Baptiste people have been suffering with a red well water crisis. Can the government erect a water treatment plant to curb the situation? Carl Somewhere says, the issue in my community is that it's in Guyana. Help me, Noriko. You and I both, Carl, you and I both. Aha! Chisel Chipper 68 says, there seems to be division in the regional administration and the subject ministry when it comes to responsibilities for maintaining government assets. The regional chairman will send you to the minister and the minister sends you back to the RC. Don't know who is the cat and who's the kitten. And finally, Grant says, this issue needs more attention, Enrico. 10 minutes of Guyana Uncut News is not enough. We need more than 10 minutes of news, my friend. Thank you, Grant. I appreciate the love. So, tonight, I'm feeling a little generous. So, for those of you who missed out yesterday, I'm asking the question once more. What is the most pressing issue that is affecting your community? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.